Welcome to Chaotic Nerdtral. On this week's episode, another little mini review session where we talk about Netflix's Shadow and Bone and the book series of Shadow and Bone, Six of Crows. I'm Sarah.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Jenny.
All right, so before we get super into it and get super spoilery, let's do a spoiler-free, how did we like it?
Overview.
Okay, we should also say
Sam
and I,
our knowledge, Sam
and I have read the series.
Yeah.
Jenny only has seen the show.
Yeah, my knowledge of the Grishaverse is zip, and it's only what I've seen on Netflix.
Which is why I'm dying actually to know what you thought of the show most.
Yeah.
Jenny.
Yeah, it's very interesting, actually.
So yeah, I will go first. So it kind of started off slow, and I was kind of like, because it was a little bit more romancy and blah blah blah, and I'm not a very big, like, just pure romance person. Like, yes, there's, like, magical sci-fi stuff, but I felt like it was mostly focused on two characters. So I was like, we'll see where this goes. I like the premise. I like the concept.
But sex ain't everything.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And then it just got really amazing. It kept, like, every episode kept, like, kind of drawing me back and got better and better. So I would probably give it, because I have not read the books, probably an 8 out of 10. I really liked it, and I'm really excited to see kind of where this goes, so.
Yeah, so what was it for you? Was it, like, I think maybe for me, I don't know, I'm not guessing since I've read the books, but, like, there's so many interesting characters that even if you, like, don't like somebody, I feel like you're gonna like somebody. Yes,
I actually have a huge, ship, as the cool kids would say, for Nina and Matthias. I am so on board
so you like that? You like how she's
I do. Like, okay, so I guess I should walk back on the whole romancing. I don't like, I'll never see you again, blah, blah, blah.
Well, like
I don't like
unrequited
that.
love.
I like that I hate you, but I'm gonna fuck you. Like, you know, like, I like the complicated stuff that eventually ends up great. Because, like, the first time I saw this, I'm like, oh, they gonna bang eventually.
Oh, you, like, knew it.
Yeah, so I really like them. But, I mean, honestly, yeah, all the characters were really good. And I kind of like how they did it, like, regardless of Kiergan, you didn't really know, like, certain characters were gonna do certain things. I don't want to spoil anything yet.
Yeah,
so,
we'll wait for the spoiler.
Kind of figured Kiergan, that's his name, right? Kiergan? I'm horrible with names.
General Kiergan?
Yeah, the Darkling,
that's
whatever.
His name in the show.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I kind of figured he was going to turn out to be a naughty boy, just because, you know, he's black, and it's totally a trope in any kind of media.
For people unfamiliar with it, he's a white man.
Well, sorry. Oh my god. I meant, like, oh Lord Jesus.
So I'm so
sad. Oh my god. I meant, like, he's, like,
you
in
mean
the color black.
His schema is dark.
Yes, and
his horse is a black horse.
The dark,
is a black.
I want that soundbite taken out of context.
Oh my god.
You knew he was bad because he's black.
Yeah.
Oh Lord,
I was gonna say we're headed to Cancelvania here.
Oh man,
Jenny.
Oh Lord
it's
Jesus.
3 minutes in.
But anyways,
canceled.
Like, they had, like, the typical trope where Alina's this beautiful shining light, and he's this darkness. I'm not going to say black. So, oh my god, Jennifer, just throw yourself off a cliff. Jesus Christ.
You're done. We're muting you.
So our next show is only going to be 4 people. Because I'm being booted off.
The PR can't fix that one.
Oh, Jesus.
Sam, reread the book first, so we're, like, the elite squad. What did you think of it?
I was satisfied. I didn't love, like, all of the changes, but, like, it was obvious to me they had the big Netflix bucks, bucks for those effects, because that was my main worry is fantasy. You have to be immersed. It has to look real. Like, you have to suspend reality, but also, like, have it be believable. I was highly worried because a lot of the books for me were very, like, kind of spiritual, like, as far as, like, their powers and stuff. They're kind of like from the inside. So to display that on a screen, I think, is a much different challenge, because you're not imagining something that's going on inside somebody's body. Like, when you're reading a book, you have to, like, see the magic and the effects and, you know, the like little monsters and stuff in the fold, and like the fold was like, I was very happy with how that looked. That was impressive. Yes. So yeah, I would also give it like an 8 out of 10, just because I did really enjoy it. But I think it remains to be seen. I think I have to see it as a package.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because some of the choices that I think are smart now maybe might not play out as well as I think. But that's what I'm going off of for now.
I'm pretty much 100% right there with you. I was really impressed with the quality of it, especially since I had a little bit of worry after The Witcher. I loved The Witcher, but the dollar bills did not seem to be behind that production, because some of those monsters were like rubber suits. It was ridiculous. Like,
I loved it. Like, again,
oh no, I loved it. But there were times where I was like, Netflix, what is this?
I don't think they had that much faith in The Witcher, and I think maybe Shadow and Bone even like benefited from the success of The Witcher.
So I guess my question, being someone outside of this, is Shadow and Bone that huge of like a nerd thing that Netflix made a show about it? I mean, Witcher's huge, so
I think it's probably right now like the really hot ticket next to like Court of Thorns and Roses.
See, I thought Court was higher up on the like, but that was just I guess my first impression. It's another fantasy book series,
but it's more romance based.
Yeah. Oh, so I would hate it. Okay, all right. Sorry, I like fantasy if it's not just romance, because I feel like fantasy romance. I hate it.
There's political intrigue too in Court.
No, there's a lot. I really like Court, but yeah. So I thought that was like the high one on like the thing, and then maybe this one. But I think it's because the only time I ever experience like where I know people are looking at this is like by talking to you, Sarah, or going on the internet and saying, I like these books. What should I read now? And then this will like, pop up if you type in like any of the other books I read, So it's like in that same like lumped,
the really high.
I mean, after watching it, I definitely want to read the books, which is rare for me. So
they're really good. Yeah, they're easy reads.
And I gotta say, the show's good, but I feel like they squandered some of the potential of the books, because the books are better.
So I do have a question. Did they combine a couple books together?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think
so Six of Crows is Kaz and his pack, correct?
Yes.
And then Shadow and Bone is Mal and Alina.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So this is the spoiler warning, because I think we're going to get right into it.
Yeah, we're going to get into the meaty review.
If you don't want anything spoiled,
full honesty,
tune out now.
Full explicitity.
Solid 8s from the team, though.
We won't go into the content of, like, the next book or anything.
No.
But anything else is fair play.
So that was probably my chief problem with this adaptation, is that I don't know for sure what they net gained in combining Six of Crows and Shadow and Bone.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like in combining both of them, and not even really combining Six of Crows, because they kind of invented like a whole nother storyline for the Six of Crows people.
So I guess we should kind of tell Jennie and other people. So since Six of Crows is a duology, it originally happens 2 years after the events in Shadow and Bone.
The trilogy. Like, the trilogy is ended. 2 years elapsed. 2 years later, then Six of Crows happens.
Six of Crows happened. So what they did is they took their, like, little heist adventure that they had that was in, how do you say, like, Fjerda or whatever. Like, it's this whole other heist.
I am so in love with Fjerda.
I don't know. They still might bring it in, though, so I don't really want to, like, spoil too much of that, So I'll say that it was a whole other thing. So for their purposes in this, like, the heist and, like, a lot of, like, how they were involved in this, and like it was totally original for the thing, but they took the characters and they like
my prediction for how they're breaking this down is there's 3 books in the Shadow of Bone trilogy, and Six of Crows is a duology. Since they basically invented a made-up storyline for this first season, I feel like we're probably going to see, going into second season, the Shadow and Bone plot from the book 2, and then book 1's Six of Crows plot.
Because they put them back in Ketterdam or whatever at the end of this one.
All the players are present, minus one.
So Nina and Tu and Matthias, they also 2 years later in the like Crow story, because they're part of that story, are in Ketterdam as well. So how they lined up him to be in prison and for her to be in the city at the end that's also like in like, you know, the first book of the Six of Crows that's like 2 years later. So yeah, they're really definitely like, they made up season 1 for the Crows, and now they're like, okay, now we're gonna start book 1 of the Crows when, you know, they go back.
And you know, I'll say this as someone, so I was like super into the Suki Stackhouse novels, and then they made True Blood, which like literally tried to follow it maybe for like first few episodes and then just went off the rails, and honestly the TV show is so much better than the books. I'll be the first to say that. It's amazing. So, you know, don't worry too much about where it's going. You might be surprised. But you know, I'm wondering if that's kind of what they're doing. It's like, you know, these are the books, but we also have an audience to play to. Audience, you know, people like specific things. You know, it's not just these specific type of people reading this. It's like all of these Netflix people. So, you know, who knows?
But yeah, besides, I mean, I think they did a really good job. I think, so back to your point, Sarah, about like, what did they gain? I don't really know. Like, story-wise, it didn't really add anything because they're still relying on those character backgrounds that are exactly the same as, like, in the books. It seems.
The only thing
I did
that was
not
cool
see
that they
Cass riding
gained.
in on a pile of dead bodies, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't gotten it. Well, that is.
I think that will be in
point.
season 2, maybe.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
Part of my problem with combining these two stories is we lost a ton of really cool detail from both books.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they had to cut corners and make things fit because they're combining two storylines. That was my problem. The cool thing is, the Six of Crows crew and Alina's crew never meet in the books. Well, they don't meet in this storyline.
Not in this,
and
capacity.
That was cool, but I also feel like it has to be set up for a greater payoff later. That they know each other now. It
seemed fan servicey to me.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. If it's not a setup for something bigger later, then it is just fan service, and at that point, I don't think it's worth cutting all the detail out. Just make Six of Crows a separate series then.
Yeah, totally.
Because the writer of the books is on the TV show series, right? Kind of trying to...
Yeah, she's totally
TV,
involved. Like, I think she and whoever the producer guy was, like,
I guess,
sat down and wrote. Like,
I guess one thing we should tell people, which I was surprised by, because I was, you know, I haven't read the book, so I was like, oh, Mal's a pretty cool character. Apparently he's not that great of a person in the books.
So
I didn't like him at all.
It's not that he's a bad person in the books, but... The interesting thing is, in Shadow and Bone, you're in Alina's head. Mm-hmm. So you only get her viewpoint.
Okay.
So
I will say, I wrote down a quote, though, that he said to her that was rude as shit in the books.
Yes, he's a little bit more
He's a douchebag. I hated him.
He's a little bit more of a dude bro in the books, but he comes around, he becomes a really cool character, but you don't
I would have been done with him, yeah.
Don't let us... It's reminding me of Married at First Sight.
Yeah. Like, I would be like...
He says you're ugly after sex. Please leave. Okay, sorry.
He's not... Their relationship in the show is so much better. That is one thing the show did so well.
I believed the whole, like, childhood thing.
Yeah.
For me, though, it just reminded me of Homeward Bound. And I kind of tuned out for a little bit. I kind of tuned out for a little bit with that because I was like...
It was a little overdone, too. I was tired of seeing them run through the fucking field.
That romancy stuff like that. So, I mean, someone else might have really enjoyed it, but for me, that was like
no, but they ran through the field like 3 too many times.
Yeah, almost like Star Wars vibes when they're rolling down the hill.
I was like, I'm good. Yeah, I was like, I got it. Get it. But okay, so maybe we should just, I don't know, should I just like list something else that's different?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, we can first say, I guess, like Alina is half shoe.
That's a big point that they.
So she's not half shoe in the books?
No.
Oh.
The stigma she carries in the books is just being an orphan. They're kind of, like, looked down upon.
And I guess maybe that wouldn't translate well to this day and age, and it's...
I think it's just she has a lot to gain as a character by just, like, actually having people, like, look at you and be like, oh, like, you know, we don't like you, you don't belong here.
I wasn't sure if maybe that was because of this day and age. That's kind of the thing that's what's going on. So kind of
one, it's topical.
Yeah,
I think they also made this season slightly more like different, like differently like political in like the series than they do, but that's like a different point later. But I think that also benefits her like being half Shu,
yes,
from a story standpoint.
It makes you understand Ravka a little bit better because later on there's the main 3 trilogy, there's the Six of Crows duology, then there's another duology that is at the very end, so 7 books right now in the whole series, that is King of Scars, Rule of Wolves, and that's more about Nikolai, who we have not met in the series yet. He is the prince of Ravka, and you learn more about Ravka's situation in that they are they're a country between 2 enemy empires. They've been fighting
with Fjerda and Shu?
Yeah, they've been fighting with one or both countries for as long as they've been around. And that kind of, this sets up, if they wanted to go all the way to that duology, an understanding of why they hate the Shu on sight so much. Of course, it's not, right or anything, but it makes you understand the political animosity.
And I think that's the one thing in the TV show they don't do a really good job that you should read the books about, is kind of like explaining that, because I had to like go on Wiki to like kind of figure out, okay, but why, like they kind of talk about the wars, but not so much, because I always want to know, well, why are you having war?
They sew it into the background. There's some awful propaganda posters.
Yeah, there's like propaganda and
So I will say the one downside is you still have this feeling of I really should read the books, because some things they just kind of go right into, like you should already know what's going on when you have absolutely no idea.
The Crows got like none. Their backstories are so juicy good, and you got none of it.
I have a feeling it will be.
But I do too, because they were just kind of like, look at these cool characters. You want to know more about them? Wait for season 2. That's kind of
pretty much. They're just like, oh, you love these guys, right? Okay, cool.
Because Jasper's so cool. So and
God, he's good. He was so well cast,
and they're and they're alluding to something else, with him. Yeah, and I like that. Like, do you guys know what I'm talking about? Did you watch the TV show?
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Alluding is not the right word.
No, I don't think we're talking about the same thing.
Are we?
Yeah, because they're almost alluding to the fact like he might be a Grisha or something in the TV show. Yeah.
Oh.
Are you talking about the fact that...
I was going to say, I thought you were talking about the fact that he's very clearly gay. I'm like,
Jennie,
he slept with a man.
I don't really think they alluded to it since he had sex.
That's why I was like...
Okay, so do you know, I was like... Really? All you're gonna show is it's done? Like, okay, if it was a male and female, they would have been like, here's this whole sex scene, here's the butts. And this is just like, oh, they're done. And now they're talking like, really, motherfuckers? Come on, it's 2021. 2021.
Okay, so
like, let's...
Jenny's removing half a star because she did not get to see the sex scene.
Yes, sorry, 7.5.
Writing it down just for that. But they were doing it on hay, which was gross, and like...
That would be very not aesthetically pleasing.
I mean...
So I wasn't into it, because there were horses shitting right next door.
I'm always into that, so...
But yeah, so I don't know. I think making her half Shu was a good idea from, like... She has more depth.
Well, except I think, the orphan thing is so overdone, and it just would not translate to this day and age, I don't think. So, yeah, I don't know.
No, and having her be half Shu translated to the screen better. It was a better visual element. So, yeah, I did like that.
And I kind of like, I like how she writes, like, the different ethnicities and everything. It's like how, it's like how we have it here. But it's not. Like, I like how Fjerda is kind of like the Norse, like, Norwegian people, and they kind of have, like, the Norse values and things like that. Though, how they treat their women is a little bit differently than I would think. I don't know. Usually,
it's more like...
Yeah, I was trying to put that, because usually, like, Norse women are much more, like,
empowered.
Yeah, so I was like, that's a little weird, because I know that's definitely what she was going for with that.
It's kind of like a more historical viewpoint, too, it seems,
So it's like she kind of, like, gets that ethnicity, but then kind of it a little bit, like
takes creative liberties with it.
Yeah, so I do like that. It's really cool, because I like how you're gonna have to help me with the names, but I like how is it the Wandering Isles? They must be like Ireland, and then Kirsch is Scotland. It must
Kirsch is supposed to be like. Is it supposed to be England or, like, the Dutch Republic?
I don't know. Their accent... I mean, I'm horrible with the accent, so I didn't know if, like, they're supposed to be, like, Scott. But I liked that. I thought that was, like, really cool, kind of how they set that up.
So that's, like, the first thing. And then, like... So the second thing for me is, like, the conductor didn't exist.
The conductor was like, who is this guy?
He was such
What
a
is
cool
going
character,
on?
though.
But it was
I
so out of left field. I was
did
like,
not
what
like
is...
him.
Oh, no, he was
that
so
whole
cool.
thing felt
I love this name
shoehorned.
I love this name was like Arkham, but I'm
Wait,
like...
he's the one that tried to kill her, right? For money.
Yeah.
Yes.
From the guy. Okay.
But I like that, because you're like, who is this guy?
Also,
What
that
is he
general guy,
doing?
he didn't exist, right?
No.
Okay, he
No,
didn't exist either.
West Ravka wanting to secede was
Yeah,
never
so
really
that's
a
what I was
big
gonna say. That's a
storyline.
new plot point that I really liked because
Yes.
It makes sense.
Yes,
my
it
political
does.
scientist point of view, that is exactly what would have happened, but it would have happened a long time before it happened here. Like, they would have been like... And then also, I don't understand why Kerrigan wouldn't support that. Like, I don't get why he would want to be under the king in that kingdom. Like, why wouldn't he also want to secede?
I
Like,
think
with
it was
the
more
rest
of a,
of the
I think
other
it was more of
side.
a power move where
I think he wants all of Ravka.
yes,
And he wants it
but
all
under
his.
himself, because
Yes.
the king was eventually going to be dead by him anyways. or-
But it's like, why wouldn't he just take over with the other guys that are also pissed?
I think because he's so old.
Maybe.
Because he, like,
Yeah.
doesn't... He just...
I just,
sees it
like,
as
didn't
being,
find...
like-
I just didn't understand. I also don't understand. This is kind of criticism, I guess, overall. But I just don't understand why Grisha wouldn't be, like, wrecking shit. Like, as in, like, they would have, like, dominated people a long time ago, in my opinion. Like, they would... You know what I mean? They'd be on top.
Yeah.
They-
Well, that's always the problem with a lot of fantasy stories. If you
Yeah.
start going too far down that road.
I know.
yeah,
But that's
yeah.
my one thing. I'm like, I don't buy this. This is unrealistic.
Well, I
Kerrigan
mean,
would, like,
I
snap
guess
this
in
guy's
fear
neck.
do they have the witch hunters? I don't know. Are they stronger in the books? Or
They were hated in Ravka back
Okay.
before they were...
Yeah.
Basically before the Darkling... That's the name of the book, The Darkling.
The Darkling.
Yeah.
Before the Darkling made the little palace and made a home for Grisha, they were basically hunted in Ravka, too. They had no country.
The
Grisha.
Fjerda? Or Grisha?
Yeah, Grisha, even in their own country.
Yeah, I don't
Which
know.
it seems...
I don't know why I like the Fjerda. I just do. I don't know. I like... Which is
Do
weird.
you like
'cause they're-
Matthias?
Yeah, shut up.
Yeah,
And I like
knew it
Nina
too.
a lot, too. So
I love
Nina's
they're
hilarious.
both so attractive. So I'm just like, yes, get together. Like, it's just... I don't know. I'm very
I
excited to
really
see where
liked
that
Matthias'
goes.
actor because he was always... I liked
He's
him
a
in the
weird
books,
character, though,
but
to
he's
read.
very... Yes, because he's so standoffish that
Mhm.
it's so hard to kind of get to know him in the books.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But seeing him and his actor did a really good job. All
Yeah.
the actors in the show, like gold fucking star. They were all
Yeah.
super well cast. They all made like characters like jump off the page. I loved that about this.
So one question I have for you guys. Okay. So, like, you guys were always, like, way into Kaz, correct? That was, like, the guy. that-
Yes.
Okay.
I love Kaz.
So, prior to kind of, like, how the story ends, I was, like, so into Kerrigan, his character in the
Yeah.
TV show, and I'm like,
Yeah.
hot damn. And I saw Kaz, I was like, okay, but I'm just like, they must be completely different people in the books, because, like, for me, I always liked, like, the really dark, evil, bad character.
Well, Kaz
so-
is really dark, but they haven't gotten into him that much.
No.
Okay.
They
He's
gave him
just-
like his mind is like his weapon, and he's just like unstoppable. And in
Mhm.
the book, you just get to see so much more of that. He really
Okay,
didn't have the
because
opportunity.
that's why,
to kind
yeah,
of
because
flex.
usually I'm like, I don't know. he's
Well,
kinda
and
like,
also, like, Kerrigan's backstory also didn't happen in the...
so you don't
which
get
is something I liked. They made
I
it more
did like
sympathetic.
that.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it made more sense. He's like, okay,
Well,
now I
so it
see
would make
where
sense
you
as to
were
why
going down
he's
this
doing
path.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I had a major boner for Kerrigan. Like,
Also, their like chemistry was way better in the show versus the book. They were
Yeah.
I was like,
there was-
yeah.
Yeah, they were weird in the book. It wouldn't, I, like, of course, like, Sarah knows this, and you probably know this too, right? We got him, the Darkling, in the book. I was like, Team Darkling.
Yep.
Even though he's an asshole. But I just thought Mal was like a little bitch boy. He was like mean. He's like, I don't like you now that you're different. Like, what? He's much better in the store. It's the show story. But I didn't like him, so I love the Darklings. When they gave him more of a backstory, I was like, oh.
well, and the Darkling, both show and story, is such a great villain. I say in quotes.
Okay, so I'm
because
glad I don't feel weird, like, really being attracted.
he has a sympathetic
towards
story
him.
because,
Yeah.
like, he's one of those character tropes where what he's trying to accomplish is good and right. It's just gotten really twisted along the way.
he just lost himself along the way. Yeah.
Because he's a zillion years old. Also, kind of the only weird thing I got from the show was his character is a lot older.
Yeah.
Like, he's like really, really old, but I mean, like, he looked older. Like,
he did.
In the book, he's supposed to appear to be the same age as her, like 17, 18.
Here, he definitely looked like he was like 30.
Yeah, so like that power dynamic was a little bit more like, ooh, in like the show.
But I mean, she definitely didn't look 17, 18.
No, it's one of those weird gray area things where like the actors are always older than who they're supposed to be playing. Yeah. But it definitely made it a little bit more risque in their mismatched power dynamic.
I liked it, obviously.
It's one of those things where I also liked it, but I feel like I shouldn't.
Yeah. Do you want to know what I have written down in all caps?
Yes.
Dear Neck.
Oh, yes! We have to talk about that.
It's in
Jennie,
all caps.
In
Dear
the book,
Neck.
The antlers are just a necklace.
Okay, I was like, that's an interesting choice.
Sam and I watched that together, and our eyeballs were like popping out of our heads. We were like, what? That is awful. That is awful.
It looked painful.
I mean, like, I loved it because it was, like, so striking, but it was disgusting.
Yeah. But it really made it feel way more like he was just violating her.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that was such a good pickup for, like, the designers, whoever decided that it needed to be that. It was so cool, but, like,
it made it painful.
So nasty.
I think, like, it made you, like, feel like shit for Alina. Like, oh my god, like, my collarbone is throbbing.
She's been mutilated by this power that is not hers.
But seriously, just all caps, Dear Neck. What the fuck? But I guess it also makes sense because he had, like, the hand connection thing in the show.
Yeah.
Like, how he, like, put the antler in his hand, so it kind of, like, showed their connection. Again, I think it goes back to that, like, whole, like, it's magic, but, like, it helps to see
visual.
it.
Yeah. Yes.
But...
Yes. The like, hand movements they made, too, wasn't really, like, talked about in the book.
Yeah,
and it makes so much more sense on the screen. Yeah.
And I will say I'm a fan of, like, magic, but being, like, small science. I think that is such a cool take.
Mm-hmm. Where it has rules.
Everyone has rules. Everybody has a different, unique skill.
Yeah.
They don't really, like, dominate each other necessarily all the time. You know what I mean? Like, they kind of... I think that's super cool. Like, I still think that's such a clever take. But yeah, that creeped me the fuck out. So I'm gonna have nightmares about the deer neck for the rest of my life.
Criticism I have about Alina is, so in the story, when she's being taught by what's Kiergan's mom's name?
Baghra.
Yeah, Bagheera. That's all I kept saying in my head. Bagheera. So she's like, you gotta find out who you are, and all of a sudden she's like, oh, I'm independent, because Mal didn't write me. I don't need no man. Literally, I think in the same episode, then she's like, I'm gonna get with Kiergan. I'm like, ma'am.
She was
not
sexually frustrated.
Now, 5 minutes later, you're like, I'm independent, I don't need a man, and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what, I do need a man. Like, no.
I mean, but come on,
this man.
But sometimes you break up with somebody and you're like, okay, but now I need some D.
But I mean, I understand that, but how it was, like, shown to audiences was she's independent. She doesn't need anybody anymore.
That was one of those things where they kind of shortcut for the show.
They did.
That
really
drawn
did.
out.
I was like,
okay.
Yeah. I feel like in the book it was very drawn out, just felt like neglect from him, because you do only see it from her point of view.
So you don't know why he's not responding to her
And you've
letters.
only seen him be, like, again, I feel like a brat, where it's like, oh, you're different.
Yeah, and in the book, he
now.
totally bangs Zoya.
He does.
I would.
I would too. She's hot.
Though I do have a question about her. So since it's different because she had family in West Ravka.
That was still a thing.
Oh, that was? Okay, so she does kind of redeem herself in the books
She
as well?
does.
100%.
She does defect, but I think it's later.
Okay. I'm trying to remember.
Because you kind of find out she has family in the second.
I'm surprised that they didn't make them bang in the TV show because I feel like it would make it so much more complicated. And
what would?
Like, what's her name? Zoya?
Yeah.
Mal?
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't make him bang in the TV show because I feel like it would make
I think
they wanted Mal to be more sympathetic.
Yeah. Like, they implied it, but then they're like,
so much more complicated and just not, oh, I love you, and I'm just going to homeward bound you everywhere, and it's just, I don't know, that kind of, I feel like if he had a little bit more of a grittier side, it would have...
I think it was a little too much, in the opposite direction for me, too. It was a little corny.
You were talking about Zoya. I think she does immediately, because This is kind of a little bit of a spoiler for book 2, but I mean, like, obviously Alina goes back to Ravka after the events of season 1, and Zoya goes with her, so.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I guess that's why I meant the second
So
book.
does Inej,
know.
like, vow her services to Alina in the books?
They never meet.
Oh.
But she's like a believer in the saints.
I was
going to
say, is Inej very spiritual in the books then?
Mm-hmm.
She believes in the saints.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
very much so.
So it's on brand that she would see, and treat her
because
that way.
In the events of Six of Crows, I can't say that. That's a spoiler.
Yeah, it's hard because I think Six of Crows will be the next.
Yeah.
I think because when they're back in Ketterdam, I think they're going to focus on what they're doing there,
And
But that's just
has a lot of interesting conversations with Kaz because she is very much believes in the saints, and Kaz only believes in greed. And they have a lot of really interesting conversations with each other.
Yeah, she's great. They also casted her, like, wonderfully.
And she's
complaints.
Suli? Is that?
Suli, yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I love her
what's
character so much.
Yes. I can't wait for what's his name. Who's the next guy? Who's the other guy in,
Six of Crows?
Yeah.
Wylan. Wylan's the only character missing. That was from the original. Wylan's such a cool character because he is, he has dyslexia, so he can't read, but he's a engineering genius. She really covers the gambit with her characters about, like, everything she tackles.
He's so cute.
He is adorable.
So, okay, my next question is, so Genya, is that how you pronounce it? Genya? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, in the books, is she someone who is a spy eventually for Kirigan, but has a friendship with Alina?
It's 1-to-1 with the show. She is genuinely Alina's friend, but she is Kirigan's spy.
Okay.
Yep.
The Darkling
and is
spy.
she raped by the king in the books, too? I don't like how they just that was just kind of like a passing thing, like... I feel like she could be a very interesting, powerful character. It's just like, oh yeah, I was raped, this is why I do this. Okay, bye.
She is. And I feel like they'll probably get more into it.
Probably.
With her.
Yeah. She's a good character.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
God,
all the characters are so good.
They're so good. They're all so powerful and nuanced and awesome.
And she, like, writes her books, like, in character, like, chapter perspectives.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Like, well, at least...
not the Shadow Bone
some
trilogy.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. I was still thinking about Shadow. I'm confused now. Six of Crows.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking about. So you're going to read, like, Wyland's little, stuff.
Yeah, I really like that. That's how the other... Did you read the last duology too, Sam?
Not yet.
That one also switching perspectives that I very much like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I, read a few chapters, but it's going to have to wait till next week.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm officially on summer break.
She said she's, like, probably done with the Grishaverse, but
no, she's not.
Without spoiling anything, the way she leaves off the very last book, she's so full of shit.
There's no way, because, like, and the Netflix series just started. She's going to be riding that high,
Yeah, I was going to say, it just starts. Now it's going to be pumped to the masses, so.
Yeah.
She's set herself up for so much success because in creating so many awesome characters who can, like, all be the main character at any point in time, she has so much ground she could cover.
Yep.
I know. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah. I don't know. I liked it. I'm excited for more. Everybody's cast really well. I don't really think there's an actor or anything I have a complaint about.
We haven't talked about the MVP of the entire series.
Oh.
Milo the Goat.
Milo the Goat. MVP.
Milo.
Best.
Also not in the books, but
well,
very
you know what? I'm glad he was added.
But he
how
gets,
else
like,
was Milo going to break
award.
free?
I just love that, like, later he had the
linchpin.
necklace on with the bullet.
Oh my god.
I, like, lost it there. I couldn't do it anymore.
My favorite
So that whole journey through the fold didn't happen because that was such a fun story. I was like,
they did not go to Raft.
Oh, it was so good.
She sat down and wrote that, like, for this. It's kind of nuts, actually.
Yeah.
But it was really good. I really liked it. And there was a lot of good humor.
A good story.
Yeah, I liked that part.
It really did well to, like, introduce the characters. And I think they'll get into the nitty-gritty of those said characters more.
They need to, because like I said, I no complaints, I just wanted more. I wanted to, like, there's such juicy details they haven't gotten to yet.
They will. There's no way they're going to leave them out, because it's, like, too good.
Well, and if it's done really well, which I believe it has, maybe next season they'll have more episodes. I don't know.
I hope they get even more money for even
I'll throw my money
evil
at that.
dragons.
And now that it's getting more popular, now I'm very excited for like things for me to buy for myself.
Favorite scene though that was in the show that wasn't in the books, 100% was fucking Kerrigan giving her those goddamn flowers.
Oh, that was so good.
I was like, so that funny. Little sassy bastard.
That was so fucking good.
I was like,
oh yeah, you're her friend. What's her favorite flower?
That made me like him more.
Oh my god.
What's her favorite flower, simp boy? Huh? Why don't you tell me?
Well, nice. I'm gonna write that down. See you later.
All right. 5 minutes later.
I'm gonna go steal your girl.
He already went to the fucking garden.
I don't know. I still
and he probably burned the rest of them. So
and I was very happy that he did not die. I was like, good, yes. And he has the monsters.
He's too hot to die.
He is. You cannot kill hotness. You have to just drag him to the end.
See, I know he's a bad boy, but I don't care.
But now he's got a backstory, and you're like, okay,
it's complicated.
Well, like you know how like he wouldn't kill Maul because he's like, oh, he was just protecting her because he gets it because he was protecting his love at one point in time.
Well, we'll see, Jenny. We'll see.
Shut the fuck up. Let me live in my dream world.
We're gonna lord our secrets over you like a spider.
I mean, I guess
it'd be a shame if something happened after this. It'd be a shame.
Stab you both in the face.
Not everyone will live.
Well, obviously.
That's always the part, though, right? When you get into a series like this, is
yeah,
not every character's
I don't know.
Make it to
I just
the end.
always feel like I like characters that are probably going to die. Like Star Trek, Jadzia died. Like, I don't know. Whenever I really like character, they die.
So you just don't form attachments anymore.
That's how it was with Game of Thrones.
Same way in life, I don't form attachments.
Game of Thrones is just like... Game of Thrones is like too much.
Well, that's why I couldn't watch it because I was like, no, I can't because it's like, oh, this character.
Gratuitous.
Oh, just kidding, they're dead. Yeah, it was just
too many deaths.
It was just to fuck with you at some point,
and it's literally Game of Thrones. So after a while, it's just like this is okay. So this is unpopular. This is not a popular opinion, and I'm sorry. It gets really boring after a while for me because I'm like, this is the same shit every season. It feels like
some parts that dragged a little. Overall, I liked it till the abysmal last season.
Yeah, those people need to never have,
Can't.
So yeah, I'm probably the only person in the world that has, I think, made it up to season 4 multiple times. I keep trying. And I'm just like, no, this is not good. I don't like it. Sorry, guys.
That's fair.
That's okay. That's
I can
me
see
with
that.
Supernatural.
That's fine. Whatever. Even though I named my fucking son after Dean.
Well, that show sucks, Jenny.
Whatever.
All right. Any parting thoughts about Shadow and Bone?
I liked it.
I'm
excited for more. I'm still also excited to see whatever ACOTAR bullshit they pull out of the works now.
Who's adapting
I forgot.
ACOTAR?
As somebody, I keep seeing that it was movies, and now I think it's Hulu. I keep forgetting. I'd have to look it up.
It's gonna be another streaming
TBD.
service I have to get. Ugh.
TBD.
That's our life.
Read the books.
Go
if you
read
like
the
the show, read the books.
They're
very
always
good.
better, of course.
Nope, not in Suki Stackhouse and True Blood.
I will take your word for that because I only watched
I
True
will
Blood.
say it's like a 90-10
The biggest
split
thing
for
I
the
will
books
say
are
for
better.
that is Lafayette. You know,
I did like Lafayette.
Yes. In the books, pretty sure he is not a huge... I think he dies in like the first couple chapters.
He was like the best character.
In True
But
Blood?
I didn't like that.
Oh,
yeah, but I did not like the fairy shit in that show. It didn't work for me. But
I have seen 0.
Oh, it's a really good show.
Oh, one last parting thought.
Oh, yes.
Lee Bardugo, who is the writer of the Grishaverse, she was in the show.
it was cute.
It was super cute. She when Alina gets welcomed, she presents herself to the king, and then she turns around, and all the Grisha welcome her. She's the first purple Kefka Grisha who hugs her, the blonde. And I
really
saw
cute.
that, and I was like, oh, that's so. You
She was so happy.
That had to be like the best day of her life, seeing that come to full
Yeah.
realization. But that's it.
Nice,
That's what I've
happy
got.
closing thought.
Thanks for coming in and listeing to us ramble about the things we love.
Beware of the deer neck nightmares. I will warn you. You will have them after watching the show.
Our intro is provided by the one-of-a-kind Noodle. You can find their band on Instagram at Arcade Mode MKE or on Facebook as Arcade Mode Band. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all is Chaotic Nerdtral. Follow us for updates on upcoming episodes. I always post when I have a new episode up, so you'll never miss it.
And also, thank you everyone who listens to us.
No, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
You're giving us your most valuable asset, your time.
All over the world.
We'll do another live stream soon. That will be fun.
Yes.
So thank you guys. We really appreciate you.
We really do. See you again in a couple weeks. Bye.
Bye.